Today on PoliTalk, a same-sex couple becomes the first to be legally recognized in the state. Hear their unique situation.
Also, how did two LSU organizations spend their weekend to better the community?
All this and more. PoliTalk starts now. Good evening and welcome to PoliTalk, Newsbeat's political news show. I'm Amber Smith.
And I'm Jacob Irving. Thanks for joining us.
Heartbreak for the families of MH370 passengers. As an analyst of the satellite data confirms, the flight ended in the Indian Ocean. Malaysia's Prime Minister spoke this morning about the new findings.
Its last position was in the middle of the Indian Ocean, west of Perth. This is a remote location, far from any possible landing sites.
Malaysian Airlines expressed their condolences via text message, stating the company has to, quote, assume beyond any reasonable doubt that MH370 has been lost and that none of those on board survived.
It's been a little chilly all day, but how much are the temperatures going to drop tonight? We now turn it over to weather reporter Christian Bennett to tell us how much we're going to have to bundle up. Christian?
Well, Monday was a pretty nice day. We did see some cloud coverage and it was a little chilly for me. But tonight we're going to see temperatures averaging around 44 degrees with wind speeds at 8 miles per hour and a 10% chance of rain. Our Instagram picture of the day comes from Amanda Rochelle. It's captioned, "Clouds over Memorial Tower." I know I don't like to start my week off with cloud coverage, but we are going to see things looking up for the rest of the week. I'll tell you more about it later in the show. After the break, I'll tell you how two women were given the miracle they had been hoping for.
President Obama has flown overseas to speak with foreign diplomats about the Ukrainian-Russian conflicts. We now have more from CNN about the goal of his visit.
President Barack Obama arrived in the Netherlands this morning for the first day of a 5-day trip overseas. It comes after his announcement last week of 2 rounds of sanctions against Russia. The Obama administration now says those measures are working.
We had the finance minister of Russia worrying out loud in public about the hit that the economy was taking. We had the leader of the Association of Entrepreneurs, basically the oligarchs club, saying, "I'm really worried about investment drying up."
Much of the president's trip was originally focused on nuclear security, with a world forum at The Hague and a meeting with G7 leaders on Monday.
And what we've seen the president do in recent weeks and what we'll see him do this week is bring the world together in support of Ukraine, to isolate Russia for its actions in Ukraine, and to reassure our partners and allies in NATO and in Europe.
The controversial annexation of Crimea was highlighted this weekend as the Ukrainian naval insignia was removed from the country's only submarine, taken down by Russian naval officers. Officials now call it worrisome that troops massed along Ukraine's eastern border may be poised for a move at the pro-Russia Transnistrian region, a breakaway of the former Soviet Republic of Moldova. After Obama's stops at The Hague and in Brussels this week, he'll have his first ever meeting with Pope Francis on Thursday. He ends the week with a stop meant to bolster strained U.S. relations with Saudi Arabia. I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
Koreans voted last week to secede from Ukraine to become part of Russia.
A Louisiana lesbian couple's wish to adopt a child has come true. After a long battle in court, the fight may not be over. Tiger TV reporter Eric Toops tells us about the opposition Angela Costanza and Chastity Brewer have faced in court.
The state has drawn out adoption proceedings in every way it can, refusing to recognize the couple's marriage. LSU professor Paul Byer is an attorney on the case and agreed to share his insight.
And they were married in California. They live in Lafayette, Louisiana. They've jointly raised a young boy, Nicholas. He's now almost 10. And the question is whether or not they can jointly adopt Nicholas.
LSU senior Alex Hotard also wished to share his feelings on the case.
I think it's significantly more legally complicated than I thought this issue would be. I didn't know how many ways a trial could be delayed and how many hearings you'd have fighting back and forth just to see if a case could be heard.
The case comes as pressure from the LGBT community increases on the state. The case stands as proof that the movement is gaining some ground.
Judge Rubin has ordered that these partners be permitted to jointly adopt Nicholas. So Nicholas has two mothers. That's never happened before in this state. It's a very dramatic judicial pronouncement that is now on appeal because the Attorney General has challenged that adoption order.
The LGBT community is making large pushes all around the country, though they face stiff opposition within Louisiana, leaving their future uncertain. For Tiger TV News, I'm Eric Toops.
Now this is still an ongoing case, having reached the second stage of appeals.
Baton Rouge residents and more than 17,000 LSU students teamed up for a day of service. Go Big was held Saturday as a way to bring Baton Rouge residents and the LSU community together and serve the area in need. More than 25,000 people joined the service project. The event focused on projects around the Baton Rouge area, such as Old South Baton Rouge, Mid-City, and Northern Baton Rouge, and more than 100 sites were anticipated. Throughout the day, the event is known to strengthen the Baton Rouge community with LSU students.
It's just good to give back to the community that we live in, so that's another reason.
And to be surrounded by all our peers and stuff, it's just a very good atmosphere.
Organizers say they were thrilled with the turnout and hope to see the same amount of support next year. After the break, we'll tell you how royalty taught some students how to brand themselves. Stay tuned. Student government candidates have done their best to share how they will help LSU become a better place. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Reporter Gabriella Chauvin joins us live to explain how you can choose student government's leaders. Gabriella?
Thanks, guys. I'm here in the Quad where Next Step and Experience LSU are campaigning to get your votes. As you can see, there's not much happening right now in the Quad, but earlier today, Experience LSU and Next Step were luring LSU students in to try to get the last-minute persuasions and votes. LSU parties were both centered around campus in front of the Student Union and Lockett. Voting is going on right now at lsurevely.com. Back to you at the desk.
LSU students learned a lesson or two about internships and branding from royalty. Tiger TV reporter Gabrielle Chauvin tells us how the intern queen hopes to help students be successful.
PRSSA presented Hollywood Under the Oaks with keynote speaker Lauren Berger, also known as the internship queen. But behind the name is a different story that could lead you down a path of success.
Your job is to get a job, so you should be spending 6 to 8 hours a day thinking about out-of-the-box ways to get that job. Is it setting informational interviews? Is it going after alumni from your school?
Lauren spoke to students about landing a top-notch job by taking the first step with internships. According to Lauren, research on the company, call for interviews, and email resumes within 24 hours. Every time you do an interview, follow up with a thank you card. These qualities will make you stand out.
I think her most crucial information to take away was like the follow-up 3 times a year with contacts, because that's what helped her land a real job. So I think that was pretty informative, and I definitely will take that away from her talk.
Lauren said rejections will come when finding a job, but one should take a risk and put yourself out there. Never take no for an answer.
What are you going to do today that's going to get you that job?
The power to success is staying in touch with professional contacts. For Tiger TV, I'm Gabriella Chauvin.
Berger says she's expecting her first book to be released in early April.
Weather reporter Christian Bennett joins us once again with a look at what we can expect in this week's weather. What does it look like, Christian?
Tuesday, we're going to see sunshine and highs at 67 degrees with lows at 40 degrees. It will be pretty windy tomorrow with wind speeds reaching up to 14 miles per hour. Overall, it's looking like a beautiful day Tuesday. If we take a look into our 7-day forecast, we'll see temperatures in the 70s and 80s. We're looking at a 40% chance of rain Thursday and Friday, but the sun is going to come out for the weekend. That's all your weather for today. Back to you at the desk.
And that's all for today's PoliTalk, but you can keep up with us by watching online at tigertv.com or on your YouTube channel.
And be sure to connect with us on Facebook and Twitter.
Again, thank you for watching Tiger TV.
Have a great evening, Tigers.